Good
Stream is live.
afternoon. Eh?
The stream is live.
Yes, what? Good afternoon, and I you call them picnic and I you come in because today is different than any other day. Today me come, I may not come with me too long on. I did not come with my too long on. I
You come with
bring the
Harold.
one and only Mr. Harold Bascom for you guys. So I'm going to wait for this live to build up and then we are going to get right in. What I would want you to do when you come in, just let me know where you are calling from. And remember, don't just say hi to me, but say hi to the one and only Harold Bascom. Like we Guyanese does say, well, any other is a mock. You
Oh
understand?
God, oh God. Any other is mock.
Exactly. Aaron, so as our audience start building up and so on, can you you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about this song. Remember your boyhood days, remember your wayward ways. Let me go down memory lane. I
Okay.
want to know everything, like where you're born, where you grew up.
All
Tell me
right.
like your first 10 years.
I born in Virginia, but
Yes.
I don't remember Virginia because me parents brought me away from there to Best Road. Best Road is where they had the arms house, the sanatorium. And
Yeah.
from Best Road, I arrived there around 5 years old. And then we moved to New Road. That's where my father built a house. And so I is a New Road boy. Went to St. Swithin's Anglican School. My parents, they went to between the Anglican school, Anglican church, and the Pilgrim Holiness Church. So I pure New Road boy. But I'm going to tell you something about New Road that many people don't understand. It used to be a village where there were lots of East Indian immigrants. Because growing up in New Road, they had the Logie. They had the Logie on the Middlewalk Dam. You go right down, you go see some of these old buildings that the Indian indentured immigrants lived. So, growing up in New Road, the culture was an interesting one. Imagine black boys start call each other babu. What happened there, babu? What happened there, babu lal? And the strange thing is, I was not aware that the Indian lingo was so interspersed with our language. We talk about tinin and a lady, and we call each other, what happened there, babu? And this is an interesting thing. I wrote my first novel, Apata, Apata, and it is based on the Coffee manhunt. There was a bad man called Clement Coffee, who had a
Yeah.
.22 rifle, and they had David Rose, this big manhunt. I was 8 years old, and I would stand up in front the yard would be under this big guinea tree. You're watching this big police lorry. In them days, they say lorry. You don't say truck. Police lorry hustling up to Perica, and you're wondering who did, who Coffee killed. But it was an interesting time, and so I wrote this novel, Apata, and a lot of it is based in the country. And I remember an Indian associate, an Indian guy. I won't call his name. He
Uh-huh.
wanted to read my manuscript, and he read the manuscript. And when he came back with it, he said, "Man, boss, come, you got something in your novel that I don't think you should got in your novel." I said, "What are you talking about, buddy?" He said, I see you using the word bhai, Bhai. That is an
Yeah.
Indian word. That's an Indian word, and you shouldn't use it." I said, "What?" I said, "Why I shouldn't use it? The word belong to me, culture. I grew up
Exactly.
in the road, and that's where we talk to each other, walking there by. And that
Yeah.
is guys that we got some issues which I hope we are ironing out. And when I look at the people that support you, Dion, I feel good. When I see the amount of Indians who understand, listen, this thing is not about who black and who is Kuli. This is Guyanese. And you, that's where, I mean, I love you for that. You have been able to make a lot of us put aside all the bull crap. No, can't say that word on your show. And I think
Yeah.
you are a successful roots girl. You're pulling together all the races under the culture. Are we society? Power to you, man.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
I
No,
go, I go
you
to
done
New York.
something when you're small. Remind me what is a lady. You say use the word lady. What's a lady?
Ladies, ladies are lead pencil, lead pencil.
Ooh,
And I remember when I left New Road and went and started living in Linden, going to Christianburg Government School. Them kids used to laugh at me. Yeah, here, lady, lady. I use words like tin in, a tin cup. We said tin
yeah,
in. And
yeah,
I refer to my father as daddy, daddy, not daddy, not dad, daddy. It got this drag and this, he sounds like he real country, daddy. But I proud of it, everything. My
yes.
first, my first play that I won the Guyana Prize with, the
Mm-hmm.
name is Two Wrongs, from the saying two wrongs don't make a right.
Don't make it right. Yes.
I wrote a play called Two Wrongs, and it won the Guyana Prize for Literature, my first Guyana Prize win. What was it about? My brother
Tell me.
George, my brother
Uh-huh.
George, God rest the dead, George had
Mhm.
an Indian friend named Kumar Jagdeo, living over the road. George and Kumar were buddy friends, inseparable. George gonna sleep by Kumar, Kumar gonna sleep by we.
Wow.
And I decided to put together a play. This play was set during the 1964 racial riots. And Kumar got a daughter, and that is George. I mean, we talking about we talking about the play. It's not real. In the
Uh-huh.
fiction, there's a character called Kumar who got a daughter, and George, this character George, is your godfather. So at some point in the play, this Indian girl getting married. But back in 1964, it was a serious time.
Yes.
If you live if there were three villages, you might have
Yes.
an all black village, a mixed village, and an all Indian village. In my
Yes.
play, the Indians started moving from the mixed village to the Indian villages, and the blacks doing the same. And so, because of this, the wedding of Kumar's daughter was taking place in an Indian village. And Kumar's man, George, man, I understand you don't want to come in this village because it might not be safe. But George said, no, this is my goddaughter. And George went over to the Indian village to officiate and give speech and thing because he got to represent the goddaughter. And while he
Yeah.
is in this village, the house was surrounded. And in this surrounding, you hear voices. Bulla got a big safe out there. A whole lot of men out there. Send the man out. They got one man in there. He's not supposed to be in there. Send him out. That was George. George was
Yes.
displaced. Now, this is coming to the climax of the play. What is Kumar, his good friend, going to do?
Wow.
Kumar says, George, I ain't gonna allow you to go there alone. And Kumar wife said, what you gonna do? Them gonna kill you too. Kumar said, George is my friend. He hug his wife, he hug his daughter, and they calling for George. No man, you're wrong. You don't see nobody in here. We know the man in there. Send you out, the rest we got burn down the house. And Kumar decide, no. He said, George, let me go. And they go outside together. And this is how the play end. They were rushed. Bulla took the knife and he bust them both in two. And the play ended. Two wrongs don't make a right. And it was a play that I hoped would have been put on in Guyana to make us understand that this nonsense is nonsense, but nobody wanted to put it on. Everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid to put it on because they think it was too political and all that kind of good stuff.
But you see, that's not, you see, the thing is, the work of an artist, the work of a playwright, the work of anybody who's engaged in the creative process is actually to make sense of certain things that go on in the society that normal people will not be able to deal with and talk about. So our job, our role is to
Mhm.
actually get the pulse of what's happening and put it in a way that's palatable for the entire society. And I think that I think that is so beautiful.
I
And I
like
think
how
that
you
needs
put
to
that.
be put on in Guyana,
I like
especially
how
now
you
when
put
we're
it.
talking about,
Yeah.
it's so important. It's so important. It's like this big elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about.
Nobody
Nobody
wants to
wants.
talk about it. But let me say this, Dion. Should you ask me, Harold, what is the role of an artist in a society? And you hit upon it. And I would tell people quite clearly, the artist is the antenna of the society.
Yes.
If you want to know what's happening in a society, check to see what them artists writing, what the writers writing, what the painters painting, what the playwrights putting on. And you will see
Exactly.
what is happening in a society. The
Exactly.
writer is not to write mills and boons and stories, that has its place. But a writer must also be the person to say, we ain't looking good. We ain't looking good. If we do this, we gonna look better. And that is why I started writing plays in 97. I put on my first play at the cultural center called The Barrel because I saw
Oh
in my
gosh.
family,
Everybody barrel. I
I
remember the
saw,
barrel, but guess what? Them
yeah,
days some meaning not money for able to go see play by. But tell me about the barrel now.
let me tell you how The Barrel came to be written. My sister, I was living in Georgetown. My brother Morris living in Linden. And in some families, some of us are more material than others. My brother was a serious materialist. So Granny, my sister,
Okay.
started sending a barrel for us. The first issue that came up was where this barrel gonna come? This barrel gonna land by you, Harold, in town? By this gonna be problems. I said, why? Am I going to allow a barrel to come to Georgetown, bypass me, and go to you? I don't like this thing. This thing gonna got big problem. Anyway, things worked out, but it left me with a nice idea for write a play called The Barrel. In my play, they got two brothers, one named Mark, living in Linden, and one named Adolph, me, living in Georgetown. Adolph got a wife who is a greedy woman. And the brother in Linden, he got an angel for a wife.
Yeah.
The brother in Linden, Mark, he tell his sister, here, Sister Gwenny, I want you to send me a red track boots because he got his red track suit. He want his track boots to match.
Yes.
While in Georgetown, Adolph's brother-in-law is a Rasta who he and his sister, Adolph's wife, cook up some scheme to broach the barrel, put on a canter seal and thief thing from the barrel, though Adolph won't know. And one of the things that Raschar, the wife brother Ice Fallon, is Mark track boots. And he
Oh.
take out the boots and he dip on the front line, scanting and he dancing with the track boots. So when Mark came down for the officiating for the opening, seal, pass the players, cut the seal.
Yeah.
And no, this is for you, and this is for you, this is for you. But let me track shoes. Mark Adult says, maybe Sister Macy didn't pack it. Look at in this letter here. One track shoes for big story. Can't find this red track shoes. And at that point, the wife, younger brother, come in. He said, man, what's going on, man? I see Raschar on the front line dancing, scanting with a nice red track shoes. And that caused a blow up. Mark attacked his sister-in-law. And his brother tried to get in between, and Mark killed his brother.
Oh gosh.
So the barrel was one of the first plays I did, which I called Mirror. One of my mirror plays. I just wanted Guyanese to see themselves, see the next
Yeah.
and correct it. See the positives and be proud of it. So
Amen.
the barrel was a hit. It was the first play that sold out with regular people from Big Yard Lodge, from all the low life place. And let me tell you this, When the people at the cultural center, the management saw the crowd, one woman, won't call her name because I still love her even though she's dead. One woman
Yeah.
said, who is this man Bascom who is bringing out all of these market people to the cultural center? What is going on? The revolution started. I
Exactly. And you
think
see,
they
that is
handedly
it.
changed the face of theater in Guyana. There are many
Amen.
people who won't want to recognize it, but after the barrel, it was the visa wedding.
Oh gosh. Well, I know. Tell us a little bit about that and the different projects you'll be doing along that too with the visa wedding.
Well, the visa wedding, the one that was put on the other last Friday and Saturday in Litonia, Georgia, that was actually the visa wedding too. The visa
Okay.
wedding was the first version where this girl was living with this young man, and this American woman, this Americanized Guyanese woman came in. She ice fall on Boogie. She fell in love with Boogie, and Boogie in the slice then got married. Jordan knew that Boogie gonna get married.
Oh
And,
gosh.
and
Same thing they us do, you know.
the woman took him away. The woman took Boogie away. So it is a painful drama of what happened in Guyana. Women would come back, see a nice guy, and want he, and marry and take you away and break up your life. Break his girl's heart. Yeah. But
Yes.
there's let me tell you something about life imitating art.
Oh gosh. Tell me.
Photograph story. When this play was on, there was a woman who came back from the States who was in the audience, and she I fall on the character Boogie. Boogie is the character. This woman fell in love with Boogie and married Boogie and took him to the States.
And Boogie had a family?
Yes, the actor who played Boogie had his family. But he might not have had a girl who he was living with. But it is so
Oh,
ironic that something like that actually happened for real. Boogie fell
yeah,
into
that's
love.
why. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes I'm very aware of like what I do because I understand the power of words. And so certain things I want to do them, but I'm like, mm-mm, I don't want to go there because I don't want to speak life into something that I don't
Okay.
want to become reality. You know what I mean?
And
Yes.
then I did a play called TV Ali. TV
I
Ali
remember
was
the name. Yeah.
TV
What was
Ali
that
was a
about?
beautiful play. That was around the time when TV was new in Guyana. Everybody got a Rex McKay on their roof or a Vera, and you could boast it on
Yeah,
TV.
I
So,
remember. Yeah, and all day they're fixing antenna.
all right.
Antenna never right.
So the plot in this play is juicy. We have a alley where they got at the back of it Mrs. Bentic, and she got a neighbor who's a virago, like cuss and abuse. And Mrs. Bentic and her neighbor get wrong. So the neighbor start to abuse Marjorie Bentic. Look upon me roof. Look, you know you were seeing that? You see Vera and Rex Mate. Where you on there, Waveney? Where you on there? Poor Waveney got no TV. And then Waveney got a throw back she little abuse. She said, don't worry, don't worry. This afternoon, me husband coming home with a brand new 21-inch TV. So when she done tell she come and say, oh God, this why just tell a woman. Because she knows she husband ain't coming home with no TV. Now, as the play progresses, Mr. Bentic comes home. And this is the first time I would get a laugh from the cultural center that was so thunderous. I didn't know what these people laughing about. The actor came in. He said, Waveney, I don't understand. I'm coming in the alley and somebody shout out, look, 21-inch coming home. Beyond the whole cultural center laid down. Laughter. Laughter from balcony to auditorium, and I is the only one saying, why are they laughing? And one of the actors turned to me, she said, Harold, boy, Harold, you're wicked, Harold. I said, no, I
Oh,
mean,
please.
what are they laughing about? Then it was explained to me that, look, 21-inch coming home, people saw it as a phallic symbol. This is the man with
Uh-huh.
this
That's the
man
first
with
thing I thought
21
about
inch.
when I see the man, when you said the man coming home. Exactly.
No, the audience saw a 21-inch penis.
Yeah, that is one no once you said it for
And these
exactly.
people laugh, and I was the only person who didn't know why they're laughing. Poor me. Look, 21-inch coming home.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
now what started happening is she started pressuring her husband to get a TV because she wanted to keep up appearances with the neighbors. And the pressure was so much on Mr. Bentic. His beautiful teenage daughter gave herself to some roughneck who was into drugs for a TV. And the play ends with Marjorie bringing in a TV, and the mother is so excited, but only the audience knows that what this girl had to do to satisfy her mother, because the mother was going to leave the father if he didn't bring in a TV. And Marjorie went out of her way to sleep with this creep, and a TV came in the home. And I ended the play on that note,
Oh my
which as
gosh. That is really so you always had the audience really thinking.
yes, and that is why I end my plays not in a very nice, wrong off way and happily ever after. I always want my audiences to go home thinking. Your husband might see you say, Dion, is what there on your mind, say, girl? I thinking about the play. That's how I always try to end my plays. And then there was
Yes.
one called Tessa Rail Girl and the Old Fool. Oh, that was a hit.
I
That
remember
was a
Tesseract, you and the
big
old fool. Tell me about that
Tessa
one, my.
Rail
Oh, yes,
Girl.
I
But I will tell you, instead of that, I will tell you about one called Cockle House. Cockle House
remember.
was a big sold out between Linden, Georgetown, New Amsterdam. Everybody wanted to see Cockle House. First, let me tell you where the name come from. Them cockle supposed to be a woman or a girl, sleeping around the place, knocking all around
Yeah,
the place like a cockle beetle. In this
yeah,
play, they had a home of a family living by like Laying Avenue,
yes.
squatting area. This mother got this old man that's come and check she out. But the old man checking out the woman little daughter.
Oh gosh.
So one day, let me tell you about the advertisement I created. And this advertisement stole the play out. Susie is in the bathroom. And then Uncle Jimmy comes to the bathroom door. He says, Susie, do you want me to wash your back? No, Uncle Jimmy. I'll be gentle, Susie. I'll be gentle. And that thing sold out the play. Anyway,
Wow.
he had sex with the little girl, and the girl was like a little born again Christian, and she couldn't hold anything, and she talk about it. And the thing hit the fan. Uncle Jimmy in problems. But Uncle Jimmy got a lawyer daughter. So the lawyer daughter come in and start to negotiate with the mother. How much money you gonna take? How much money you gonna take for done this story? Let me stick a pin. This play was written at a time, and again, all my plays are always in reaction to something going on in the society.
Yeah, but
At
they
this
can
point
they
in
can work
time,
for any time. Like right now, those plays are needed in Guyana. Right now.
okay. But at the time, there was a lot of men messing around with young girls and paying off the family. And I said, Harold, you got to write a play about this nonsense. And so the daughter is pitching money, pitching money. How much would you take? Would this be enough? Would this be enough? Would this amount be enough? And I said, how should I end this play? Should I end this play on the mother accepting a certain amount of money? I said, no, I'm going to leave it open ended. Now, back in that time, 4 million was a lot of money. So I ended the play with the line, what about 4 million? Wouldn't that be enough? And I brought the curtains down. Boom. And I sent the
Oh
audience,
my
y'all go
gosh.
home. Y'all go
And
home and think about that.
mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm talking too much.
No, you're talking too much. Tell me what Tessa Rail Girl and the old fool.
Well, Tessa Rail Girl was a story about, in modern day language, he was, what is called him, old man now? A sugar daddy.
Yes.
And it ended with the girl that he was messing with turned out to be his daughter. Something like that. I wrote so many plays. I can't remember the plots of many.
Wow. So you always look at what's happening in society and use that to write your
Yes.
plays. You always look at what's
Yes.
going on.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. And that's exactly, what we should do. Do you have a routine when you're writing? Like, what's your routine like?
When I wake up around 5 o'clock, I wake up around 5 o'clock every morning because my wife works at a hospital, which means I gotta help her. I'm like a Batman, help her get ship thing and so ready. So I be up early. Once she
Yes.
is gone by 6 o'clock, I'm upstairs at my laptop. But even before I come upstairs, my studio is upstairs. Even before I come upstairs, I am making notes on my phone. I use the notes app. And if I got
Yes.
any ideas, I writing it down on the phone. So and then I would send the note to my email and I would come upstairs and transfer the email to my Word document. And I start working.
Wow.
So I would work from 6 to 12, take a break, go for a walk, and maybe from 2 to 6. And if it's a project that I really need to get done, I would continue from 9 to 11 or 12. I work just like that, as though I'm going to work
Wow.
systematically. Because that's
Wow.
all I do. That's all I do. I just write and paint.
Right campaign. Now, is
Yeah.
it okay for you to share a little bit do you share what you're doing currently or you just leave that until it's done?
No, I could tell you what I'm doing currently.
Okay, so what are you working on right now?
Right now, I am working on a play around this Brazilian butt lift nonsense that has taken black men by storm. I don't understand it. Black people, Africans have grown into society where we ought to accept that our women normally would have big butts. No big thing. But what has happened that caused it to be this whole embarrassing sensation that black women now going for butt lift and they're killing themselves? And I don't understand it. We were a people who accepted that our women, their derrieres were just that. We accepted it. But now, because of a few white women, a whole nonsense started back, when? 2014, Kim Kardashian, J-Lo. It's embarrassing that it took such personalities for black women to accept how beautiful they are. Which is whole fuss about? I don't understand. And then the black men are fueling it. The black men, I don't get it. A man looks for a woman. Traditionally, a
Yes.
man looks to see if a woman and him were compatible. When I was younger,
Yes.
I gonna ask a woman, I gonna ask a girl, what would you like to do? If she tell me she like party I know nothing ain't happening. Hold on, girl. I think I'm supposed to get this phone plugged in. Hold on, coming back.
Okay, yeah, plug in, yes, plug in. Y'all see how much knowledge this man giving me body. I sit down, I listening with rapt attention. With rapt attention, boy. Oh my gosh, we gotta get these plays. Mr. Bascom gotta bring back these plays to Guyana because them thing is reality. And you see, that's the work of an artist. The work of the artist is to mirror what's happening in the society and really get the society to think about what's happening.
Come in,
Mhm.
come
Mhm.
in.
Yes, and if you have any questions for Mr. Bascom, if you have any questions for Harold, you can write your questions and he's going to answer them as we go along. Yes, good one. Because Martha says she's listening. If you have a question for him, please ask your question. Yes.
Good, I hooked
Mhm.
up. I'm back.
Yeah, so you're writing about this but
Yes.
event that's going on, right? Yes.
I'm calling the play BBL.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It
The
started
but
with two men, one in the house fixing some light switch or something, and then his friend come over and ask if he's aware that his wife throwing some box to do a BBL. I said, where's the BBL? It's a Brazilian butt lift body. And the husband was surprised. Why would she do that? What she got is enough for me. Where's it she going? Where's it? And so I'm developing something like that. But let me tell you something about writing.
yes.
You start with one idea, and before you know it, you change the idea. Because that was a play where there was this big woman. She's a big woman. She and her husband, they got kids, grandkids. And why would she be hustling for get big butt? What is it she want?
Wow.
You're looking for one of them young boys? Eh? You're looking for one of them greedy looking chaps? Look at woman with lust in the eyes, leery. But I said, man, but I need to write a play for a younger demographic. So
Yes.
I decided to change it. And
Mm-hmm.
this morning, it's about a young girl who wants to do it because she loves she man. And when they're
Yes.
in bed, he got a habit of tracing his hands down she back. And when he come to the smallest she back, he just regret that he hands in going up, 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 up a hill and coming down. She ain't got no hill. So then her sister Candace says, you love it? What was that about? And the discussion between the sister and her. The sister is a CNA. There's a
Yes.
certified nurse aide.
Yes.
And as the sister says, people laugh at my profession. They just call me shit cleaners. But
Yes.
lot of you women want this big butt. But let me tell you, when a lot of these big butts come in the hospital when they get old, it's a problem. It's a problem to clean them. Says, look, the other day we have this 500-pound woman, and it took 5 of us to clean her. 2 had to hold the left cheek, pull it apart. 2 had to pull the right cheek, and the brave force not to get in between there. It's
Wow.
not easy. And she said, I got a friend, the fire she on the spot. Why the fire she? I'm gonna tell you. This same woman tells she want to fart and must help open she butt so that the fart could come out. And the girl
Wow.
said, hell no. And they fired her. So
Wow.
we going along with these little things. And
Yes.
then at one point, I want the sister to ask her if she ever heard of Sarji Bartman. You ever heard of Sarji or Sarah Bartman? The sister says, who is she? And at that point, I'm going to introduce the Hottentot Venus. You ever heard of that woman, Leon?
What's her name? Hottentot
Sarah
Venus?
Sarah Bartman. They call her the Hottentot Venus.
No, I've never heard of her.
All right. Sarji Bartman was an African woman that a white guy brought from South Africa to Europe. And her butt was big, her vaginal labia was extended, and he used to have her on exhibition. People used to
Oh
be coming
yes,
and
my
studying.
teacher is saying that. Yeah, wow.
Yes, they had her on exhibition. And I think more black women should understand, should hear about the story of degradation, what they did to a black woman because of her butt. And to see black men now acting stupid over what was supposed to be natural to them, acting stupid. I said, I got to write something about that. And this is not going to be a Guyanese play. I'm hoping it crosses over to every Black person that would see it. And
I think it will, yes. I have to remember that name. My teacher said yes, Miss Mel, for Archie Persico. She said yes. They had her on display in Europe.
had
Yes.
her on display. And the
Yes.
indignity of it, even when she died, some white scientists had her parts of her body put in glass jars, you know. It was years later that Nelson Mandela demanded that the remains of Saartjie Baartman be returned to South Africa for respectable burial. And they said, okay, sir. But we need to understand ourselves. We need to understand our pride and don't be just, I don't know. But I'm hoping that play will say something. So that's what I'm
Wow.
working on right now. I'm also
Wow.
working on a coffee table book for the Caribbean. I have a graphic novel that is making the rounds out in the world. This is a
Yes.
horror graphic novel. But this is important. Let me tell you about this graphic novel.
Yes.
I decided to take a Guyanese zombie story and to turn it into something that would be accepted internationally. This is what we got to learn to do. They had a story, I think you might have heard it, and there are many versions of it, of this man and his woman coming home one night. Or this woman
Yes.
coming home from church one night and she hear, baby crying in the grass. What's it? Baby? And she investigated, and there in the baby is a nice little baby. You know, Guyanese. She pick up the baby, she
Yes.
go home. And as she going home, the baby getting heavier and heavier in her hand. And the baby getting heavier. By the time she reach the gate, this thing is no baby. This thing is a zombie drop out your hand. And the thing say, you better take me back where you get me from.
I
So
remember that.
it's
Oh
a,
God, you make me scared grow. I remember that.
now,
Oh God.
another friend, a friend from Port Drawing, she said, man, Harold, my grandmother tell me a verse of the same story. But this time it was a man and his wife going home, and they hear the baby cry, and the wife pick up the baby and carry home the baby. While they were past the burial ground, a voice from the burial would say, Mildred is where they're carrying you. And the baby said, you know, them said me sick, them came me to hospital. So I took that story and I said, maybe I could internationalize the story. And I created a story right in Georgia. I created a fictional city named Aldenville, where there's a certain house on a certain street that you don't see any lights in the house, but secretly there's some demon living in this house, an old Swizzly demon. It's an ancient demon that looking for blood. If she get blood from the community, she can get back young and sprightly, and then between them they won't even know. But how would she get the blood? She got her own demons, or you call them familiars. Anybody into spiritism gonna know what a familiar is, a little sort of demon. She would send these demons out to the sidewalk. And once they reach the sidewalk, they would transform into a nice little pet. And you know the way Americans are. Oh, it's a cute doggy. What are you doing out here? Took the first person, picked up this little dog, took it to the house, and an old lady said, oh, it's so nice. It's not mine. You're so kind. And she took home the little dog. In the middle of the night, it transformed back into a monster, vampire monster, kills her and draws the blood, which would take back to the old woman. And so the next time this gay guy coming along and he saw a nice little bunny rabbit, said, oh, what you doing here? Come to mommy. You know, he pick up the rabbit, and the rabbit kills him. And
oh my gosh.
the third person sees this nice little kitten. And every time you see the lady, she getting younger and younger. And so the whole book is based on how they will eventually get this demon. Of course, they don't get the demon. The demon turns a nice woman in a nice mall and men hitting on her. But that's what I do. I think we, as Guyanese, should take our folklore and myths and turn them into stories that would sell out of Guyana.
I
So
truly agree with you. I truly agree with you. And I remember we had a conversation, you were talking about the fact that, like, we have to understand the importance of preserving our stories, the importance of preservation of culture.
we don't do
What
that. We throw away. We
Mhm.
like throw away. That's our problem. We don't keep anything. Now,
It's true.
ask me how I ended up being into theater. This is something that really surprised a lot of people because they thought, Harold, you were an artist and you're a writer. I never wanted to be an artist. I never wanted to be a writer. I never wanted to be a playwright. Do you know what I wanted to become all my life?
Wow.
A film director.
Wow.
Directing is my first love. Like I directed my play to help these guys out, and I got back into directing. I felt so happy. Just give me something to direct. That's my strong point. But I said I want to be a film director, but how can I direct a play? I don't have a script. But I read enough to know that if you get a good novel, you could get a film out of a good novel. So I said,
Yes.
but which novel? And I said, Harold, you better write a novel. If you write a novel, maybe you can get a chance to direct your novel. The next question was, what shall I write about that would make a nice movie? And I remembered Clement Coffee from since I was 8 years old. Coffee with David Rose and everybody running behind me and who get killed in police crossfire, and then they're gonna find Coffee in some coal pit and they're gonna kill Coffee. And I decided to write a story on about Coffee. I called it A Patter, the story of a reluctant criminal. This book here.
Yes.
But
Wow.
living in New Road, living in Guyana, you're gonna butt up with opposition. Tell your friends, why I want to write a novel. What's wrong with you? You could write novel. You white. You got to go away, boy. You got to go away. You can't write novel. So my response was, if I was an ordinary person, I would have said, all right, all right. I said, no. I said, who said I can't get a novel published out in London? Who said I got to go away? And I said, wrote a series of letters. Dear Heinemann, would you accept a novel written by a Guyanese in Guyana? Dear Faber and Faber. And I got a list of British publishers and I wrote this query letter and I mailed it off. Let the people tell me no. Not you. You telling me who you know. And I started getting letters back. Yes. Send the manuscript. Yes. Dion, it was simple as that. I chose
Amen.
Heinemann
Wow.
educational books, and in 3 years' time, with the going and coming between the editors, editors always wants they would correct you, guide you along.
Yes.
And in 3 years' time, I was a published novelist. So
Beautiful.
I'm ready now. I have a novel. I'm gonna be a director now, but it's not so easy. For somebody got to be interested in producing it for you to be a director. So that didn't work. I said, okay then, the novel didn't work. Harold, maybe you should write plays. But what kind of plays should you write? And I started going to Theatre Guild and look to see what they're doing in Georgetown. But I wasn't seeing anything that I could relate to. I am seeing Jamaican play, Smile Orange, and all of things. I'm seeing African plays. I'm seeing American plays, Bajan plays. What I was not seeing is Guyanese plays.
Oh gosh,
And
I got
then
to give you a thing for that because that is like and this thing has pervaded our entire culture. You're
oh
gonna
yes,
see everything selling except I don't want to talk about the colonial mentality. This is like my pet peeve right there, Harold.
yep.
You understand? This
So,
is my pet peeve.
but when eventually I saw a Guyanese play, this was the problem. The main characters were highfalutin red people. And the people who was the gardener and the maid was people who looked like me. I said
And
something
me,
wrong.
yes.
I knew there's something wrong here. And then I started reading some plays by a Russian playwright called Maxim Gorky. and Maxim Gorky was writing plays about the regular people, the ordinary people. And I said, if Maxim Gorky could do that, why can't I? And I wrote my first play called The Butter Line. I wrote that in
I
Linden, The Butter
remember that.
Line.
What was the bottom line about?
Let me tell you about The Butter Line. In the 70s, early 70s, we had a cruel economic crisis. Many of the people here listening gonna know what I'm talking about. You want bread? Join the bread line. You want aisle? Join the aisle line. You want this? Everything was a line. And then they had the butter line. Now, in the story, they had the home of Talmy. I use politicians' name for my characters. Talmy married to Shirley, but Talmy had a sexual problem and he used to hide behind the books. He ain't doing what he's supposed to do. He hiding behind the books, talking about Lenin and Marx and all them kind of political, scientific stuff. And poor Shirley, sexually starved. Then one day she go to the supermarket and she eyes fall on Walter Granum.
Oh Lord.
Granum fall in love with Shirley, but Shirley is this dutiful wife. Shirley ain't giving Walter nothing. Every time, as Walter says, every time is Santa coming down the chimney. Santa coming down the chimney. Christmas, Jesus Christ. So she loves your husband. She loves your husband. And this is something I want us to talk about. A lot of people do not understand or they don't want to accept that love and sex don't necessarily go together. And a lot of men hate my guts because I would say this. I said to a friend, buddy, that is your wife. She loves the dirt you walk on. But she could sleep with somebody else. And if you don't know, you don't know. And life goes on as normal. So Shirley loved Talmy. But sex is a physical thing sometimes. Sometimes it's just a biological need that needs to be met.
Yeah, that is true. That
men cannot accept that. I remember writing a letter to Starbuck News saying, what's wrong with men? They live with a woman that they believe her vagina belongs to them. No, it does not. It belongs to her. She gives it to him because she chooses to give it to him. And if he slip and he slide, she give it to me. And if he doesn't, I don't walk in my mouth. He doesn't know. Anyway, go back to Shirley.
Yes.
Shirley loves Talmy, and Shirley doesn't want to give herself to Walter. She like the romance and this and that, but she don't want to get into the physical. And Walter had enough of it, and he planned for her the day she would come to visit him. In the play, I did not show what he did. I cut that part and I come back to the day she came back home. She bursts in the door. All she hear tussle up and she close thing up. And her husband says, Shirley, what happened to you? And she said, the butter line told me. They almost killed me in the butter line. It was a long line, tell me. A fat line, a cruel line. And the audience lay down with laughter. Who ain't nobody laughing? Me. A friend taught me, say, Harold, you're wicked, boy, you're wicked.
No, man. You can't tell me you ain't nobody laughing. When this lady got she got in the line.
Beyond all I was
do the whole sexual overtone there. You ain't got the sexual overtone?
No. I got a friend named Jeff Trotman. I turned to Jeff and said, Jeff, what are you laughing? He said, Harold, you're cruel, boy, you're cruel. All I was doing was trying to describe a line in a very creative way, not knowing I create the most vicious penis. It was a long line, tell me, a fat line, a cruel line, and the audience laid down. And she wasn't far from the door.
Wow.
And wasn't far from the door, tell me. And they're pushing me, and they're pushing, and next thing I fall down, and then the butter push out, and I try to grab it, but somebody, oh, no butter, tell me, no cake, tell me. And me, hugs her up. All right. It's all right. We will do without Christmas cake. The Butterline was a hit. I remember after that play at the Lighthouse Hall, I taken a walk going by a girlfriend in a place named Canvas City. And we
Yes.
talking about drama which was normally for the highfalutin. I walking through the back going to Canvas City, and at the bottom out of some house I hear, I look, congratulations, congratulations, the Butterline. And I felt good. You know what I did there?
Yes.
I connected with people who were thought not to be intelligent enough to understand Shakespeare and all the BS. I don't want
Exactly. And that almost make me like tear up because I think that is the work. The work is for people to see themselves. People
Yep,
have to be able to identify. And if we can just understand that the work is people must see themselves in whatever it is that you create. If they
exactly.
can't see themselves, then you're writing for who you're writing for. You got to write for the normal person. But I think
Right.
because of your bringing and so on, but I want you to answer this question right here. Angela says, I have one of his book, 101 Words That Tell Your Guyanese, Volume 1. Is he working on Volume 2? So can you talk a little bit about that? Talk about Volume 1, and you want to share anything from Volume 1?
Yeah, but I'm going to do that. Let me say this before I go to volume one.
Yeah.
Anybody know of the book Our First Village, the Muckamucka Tree,
I know,
Comfort
I hear
Drums Are,
of Tree.
Comfort
Yes, I hear
Drums Are
the
Calling, Balram's New Home? Those are books I did when I worked with the Ministry of Education. We wanted
Wow.
to create supplementary readers for Guyanese little children.
Wow.
Our first village was the first we did, set in Victoria. Little black children. Balram's New Home, little Indian children. Ordinary. And I remember
Yeah.
I started getting criticism. Why you drawing them children looking so local? Why you drawing them children look the little seed head by you? Why you drawing them children so ugly? There was nothing ugly about the children I was drawing. I was just drawing children from my own neighborhood, little black kids, little Indian kids. I wanted them to look in a book and see children who look like them. And if
Amen.
there's a boy in a book that looks like me, yes, I'm important. That was my objective.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let me talk about 101 words that tell your Guyanese. And let me see, should I read a little bit of the preface to say,
Of course, do. Yes, buddy.
a compilation like this wasn't easy. The choice of what words should have been included and what words should not was a big challenge. There was one category of words, however, that was easy to pass on. Guyanese names for male and female genitalia. Anyway, but that's for another book. The oral culture of Guyana is formed by multiple ethnic heritages. Three of these, the African, Indian, and Amerindian, however, have provided us with an abundance of everyday words. Had I chosen to exhaust words from each one of the Guyana's 6 ethnic heritages, the book in your hand would have been quite heavy. Nothing like a handy little read I had intended. So I made a decision to present only those words that most Guyanese across ethnic lines might be familiar with. And then I spoke about about spelling words, which is a challenge because our Creoles has not been standardized.
Yes.
And so we got to try to use phonics or phonic structure. The first word in the book is braiga.
I love the word.
The
Oh,
word
yes.
braiga has many shades of meaning. The general consensus, however, is that it describes someone who has attained some status in life, be it through wealth or position, and lords it over his lesser, someone who loves to show off. Braiga also describes someone who is regarded as a phony, big shot. It goes even further. Someone who cannot be trusted and is prone to switching sides in order to gain opportunity also can be described as braiga. Note, big zas and braiga can easily be used interchangeably. He bragger, she bragger. And in the book, I
Big
gave
class.
examples. I also did illustrations because I'm an illustrator. So
Yes.
let me give you some juicy names. Kunu Munu.
Woohoo!
Kunu Munu. The word Kunu Munu describes a male who is weak in character, a man who fails to be strong and assertive, especially in the face of women. And I give examples. Imagine,
Wow.
imagine she brings she sweet man in she husband house, telling she husband that the sweet man is she cousin. And the husband, damn kunu munu, start laughing and gaffing with the man like the two of them is old friends. And so,
Exactly.
though,
You know, when I did the research on the etymology of the word kunumono, I can't remember which one of the African languages it's from, and it actually means the biggest idiot.
wow, I saw
Yeah.
you doing some of that and I was impressed. We need more of that, Leon. We need more of that. Then I got words like lamata, also
Yeah.
lamuta, is a derogatory
Yeah.
description of someone perceived as being physically handicapped or physically challenged. Note, many use the word padli and lamata interchangeably. Lamata, however, relates more or less to the physicality of an individual, while padli relates more or less to the mental. And here's my example. Fred, Fred, don't let me catch you describing anyone in this neighborhood as lamata. You hear me, child? Because I won't have that kind of talk in here. And as much as that man is physically handicapped, he's educated and gainfully employed, unlike your father. Sorry, auntie, but I didn't know nothing. It's just that I see how we walk in, and then I see how we go in the car and drive off. And so I turn and ask Shelly, how come the man over the street looks a lamata and can still drive car? The
Okay, so bring
handicap
out the meaning
everything
clear.
here. They do everything here, boy. This is not Guyana. This is America. So the next time I hear you refer to anybody like Mr. Brown as lamata, I'm going to pack you off right back to your mother in South Rhine Belt. And I ain't talking with water in my mouth. So
Woo!
I got a chance to involve my fiction writing.
Yes.
Pardon, you ever heard of Absalom?
Yes.
Why is Absalom for you, Leon?
Absalom for me, when I see that is somebody who will come in life and it's like a heavy, they're gonna be like a heavy load, they're gonna be problematic. They may add in
All right.
nothing to me.
All right.
Yes.
Absalom. Absalom is a word used to label someone who seems always beset with problems. If
Yes.
not one calamity is another. Absalom, however, is another amusing Guyanese mispronunciation. This time of the name Absalom is a pronunciation of the word Absalom, the son of biblical King David, who tried unsuccessfully to defeat his father's army in a major battle. With Absalom's army routed, he fled on his horse. In doing so, he rode under a tree and got his long hair entangled in the branches and was left hanging from the branches as the horse bolted on. What a predicament. Thus, Absalom was found and killed by his father's soldiers. King David was devastated. The king was overcome with emotion. He went up to his room over the gateway and burst into tears. And as he went, he cried, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom. If only I had died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." Absalom is somebody who always got problems. So
Now
I
wait.
sweet man,
And
sweet
then
woman.
Angela said, he spoke
Yeah.
about Apata already, Angela. Yes. People are just
What,
responding. Somebody said, I remember those days line up for a lot of things. Silvana said she loved this topic. She
all
said she
right.
know Mokomoko free. Somebody said I read them all. There's somebody here who's saying that they read like all of your work.
That's
Yes.
nice. Thank you, my dear, or sir. You know. Now we have words like clothespin. You ever heard of a clothespin, Dion? Clothespin.
Close.
Call a woman a clothespin.
Well, I could, yeah. Well, if when my imagination is so vivid that I already see once you squeeze the top, so the bottom opening.
You ever hear
Oh
about a
God.
P-Rai? You ever hear about a
Pirai? Oh
P-Rai?
God. A what?
P-Rai. Call a
Yeah,
woman a
Pirai the
P-Rai.
still. Yeah,
No, but
that's
a
a
P-Rai,
still.
a P-Rai, call a woman a P-Rai, you're implying that she's a bush whore.
Really?
Yeah, really. P-Rai.
I
P-Rai
didn't know
is a
the one.
name given. P-Rai is a name given to a prostitute that works in the Guyanese interior or bush, especially on gold and diamond mining settlements. For many gold miners, the aggressiveness of the bush prostitute is synonymous with the cannibal fish, the P-Rai, hence the name. Of course, I mean,
Whoa.
they got auntie man, which is a strange thing because now it's like, oh, did he say auntie man? That's not good. I don't know. Of course, I'll just show you. Can you see the drawing here?
Yes, I see the drawing.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we got hongish, licorice, scraven. We got kachar. But they use kachar, a distrustful person, usually a male, but can also be a female. And you have a muck. You know
Wow.
what's a muck
Well,
beyond?
you know what? I don't know if you're aware, but what you've done there is you've taken like Bhojpuri Hindustani words. I'm hearing old English words. I'm
Yeah,
hearing words that came from different languages from Africa, and you just mix them all together. And these Guyanese Creoles right there.
yeah. You know it's a
Wow.
paku, right? Somebody's a paku,
Yeah. You know any Baku story?
not baku. Oh, baku. I think got Pakoo.
Yes.
Baku. But I know
Yes.
I could tell you a Baku story that would make you laugh.
I want to hear a Baku story, but here's something. A
Uh-huh.
Paku is a man what in strong, ingata strong. Like, for instance, we just say, if we see a woman with a man and she doing the all kind of thing, we just say, man, she catch a Paku, she bossy back, now she
Baku,
put
Baku,
in
Baku,
salt.
Baku. A
Yes.
Paku denotes someone seen as gullible, someone that can be deceived quite easily. The word Paku comes from the name of the Paku fish found on the Atlantic coastlines of Guyana and is regarded as a Guyanese culinary delicacy. Here's my example. That girl Gerald pick up with is not in the class. That girl got plenty brains and go run rings round the big backside. You're sounding very judgmental there, Eerie. Careful there. Picking up a little bit of envy to you. Envy, why would envy he skite? Gerald Kisud is a Paku. The girl gonna bossy back and put salt. So I have examples. But let me tell you about the Baku.
Yes.
Let me one night I was living in Alexander Village, went to the late show, and was coming home after 1. The back door, and know I could go around the back and shake the door, and the bolt can back out and get inside.
Yes.
I tack around the back, and when I swing to the back door, I see a Baku. I see a sharp man on the step. I see the sharp man.
Aral, you see a Baku?
Let me talk my story. I freeze. My head start growing. I see this bigger thing, and a voice in my head say, "Harold, run! Harold, run!" But I's a Scorpio man. I don't run from nothing. And my head growing and I'm frightened, but I ain't running because nobody gonna say, there's a man that running through the street balling, not me, I ain't running away. And I stood up there and I watching this thing, and I watching this thing, and I watching this thing. And bit by bit, my eyes start get accustomed to the darkness. And then I realized was the garbage bin on the back with the head with the lid torn up, and it looked like a big head man. So,
Oh gosh.
the
So
mind.
you never know what Baisi and Baya?
I always hear about bison buyer bricking house and that kind of thing. I don't know if it's true. But
You never see it?
let me get another quick Baku story.
Yes.
One day I'm downstairs in my bedroom around 3 o'clock, relaxing, and my phone ring. Ring. I see the number is a New York number. I don't know this number, but I say hello. Voice said, are you the man who sell the Baku? I said, sell Baku, sir? Baku are not real. Baku in real. Say, what you mean, man? Baku real. Me got one friend of Guyana, he got Baku. And me then New York, me work hard. Me tired of working hard, me want one Baku. I said, buddy, I don't sell them. I just only draw them. But he was arguing with me, and I said, well, best of luck. But my friends, they said, ma, Harold is a muck, you could make some good money there. You could start a Baku company right away. You could take an order. But I'm not set that kind of thing. I won't call nobody. But some people actually believe those things.
Well, let me tell you, I grew up with a mother. My old mother generation are people who believe in Obia. And what I know for sure is that my mother had entities in her. Like my mother could sit down talking with us and different, I don't know what you call them, but she would start talking like a man from Europe. She would start talking like a woman from here. She would start talking. All these people used to show up in she manifestation, they just call it. So my mother does manifest all these people. You think you're talking to my mother, and next thing you're talking to this man, he bites everything. But she is there, but it's not she you're talking to.
You used to be scared?
Not really. Because me and them used to argue enough time.
I love that. You could remember any one of those arguments?
Yeah, because she had an altar. And we used to have worship at this altar. So on the altar, it had like different gods. She would have like the Hindu gods, different Mother Kali, all these people on the altar and so on. And we had to meet in there and worship. And sometimes I used to jump through the window because me and want worship. And then the thing tell me, say, when he done with me, he said, when me done with you, you're gonna be worse than when God bite you. Me say, who me? Me say, you can't do me nothing. I ain't gonna be worse. I argue back with that thing.
I love this.
She had a lot though. Me not had a lot. She had like 10. Used to manifest just so.
So let me go back to this one who tell you that when we done with you, you're gonna be like goat bite you. In other words, you're gonna get no man. So so when you dare this thing, did it back down?
Yes, I think so. I think when the argument thing was me who like, yes, coming at me not take left. And that's why to me I was like the black sheep in my family, because I'm the truth teller.
Truth teller.
Yes. And when you're the truth teller, you're also the black sheep.
Okay. Anyway, why don't you open up the floor to anybody who wants to ask any questions?
Yes. Excellent, Harold. Let me do that. Shannon Lisa, my neighbor used to cry and say the Baku carry away her money and she couldn't sleep. Okay, guys, this is the time now to ask Mr. Bascom whatever you want to ask him. Somebody was asking about Apata. Is that the name of the book?
Yes. Apata? Now, Apata, I was writing the story based on Clement Coffee. But of course, I didn't want to use the actual name Coffee. So I said, let me get an African type name. So I named it Apata, which is a Yoruban word that means rock.
Okay.
But let me tell you something about when I was researching that novel. And for those who are interested in writing, they need to understand that research is an integral part of writing.
Yes.
To write Apata, I had to understand the Clement Coffee story. So I went to the archives, which was next to the fire station when you come out of the breathing hoop, Stelling, you go around the corner. The archive was just there. And the archivist then was a guy named Tommy Payne. And Tommy used to see me in the library going through these old newspapers, making sketches. And then one day he picked pluck and he said, Bascom, why are you going through and like you're researching a criminal? What is that about?
Yes.
And it tells you that, many of us don't understand this creative thing. He thought I was wasting time researching a criminal. And this is what came out of it. This turned me
Wow.
into a Caribbean writer. So
Wow.
Apata was based on the story of uh, Clement Coffee, which was a real story that involved men like David Rose, and there was this big manhunt in the back dams of Parika, Namrik village, etc. So if there are any
Wow.
more questions based on Apata, yeah, just ask me.
Wow. This Robert says, Clement Coffee's sister and I went to school together.
Wow, nice. That's
Wow. Okay, Jem say, where can I get a copy? Good afternoon, Sharon. Where can I get a copy? And guys, you can ask questions also.
now Apata was published by Heinemann Educational Books back in let me see what year it was they published this book. It's published back in 1989, 87. It's a long time. It means that at this stage Apata is out of print, but you can go on Amazon and you can still get used copies of Apata.
Okay. All right, here's another question for you. Mr. Bascom, would you still sell your books in Guyana? If so, where can they be found?
I have no books selling in Guyana right now. Uh, so I have books selling. Guyana has not been very receptive or kind to me. And since I'm on this forum and Dion tells me that I could speak, Guyana, okay, put it like this. I have been approached by Guyanese who would say, you related to Harold Bascom? And I would say, I am Harold Bascom. Ah, you know. I remember when I was an art director at a place called the Guyana National Service Publishing Center. I was an art director. I was in charge of the illustrations. And this young man came to look for a job. He went to the administrator. The administrator said, you have to see Mr. Bascom. He will decide whether or not we're going to hire you. So go find Mr. Bascom. So this guy is walking up and down the place. He can't find me. Somebody steered him to my office. Knock, knock, knock. I open the door. There's this young man. And the guy says to me, he said, buddy, can I tell you some truths? He said, I see you up and down the corridor, but I said, it couldn't be you who is the art director. I looking for a banner looking like Rand Robinson. Guyana has not been very kind to me. If you go on Google and you type in Guyanese writers, you will not see my name. There are people who have made it their life's obsession to make sure that nobody remembers this blackface chart man. This is a vicious, Guyana can be a vicious country. So even when my novel came out,
Yes.
I had to fight for them to bring in a few copies. Why? Because in Guyana, the Guyana I grew up in, there was this popular thing that people said, if you're white, you see the light. If you're brown, you stick around. If you're black, you stay back. And my complexion has affected me deeply in Guyana. People have gone out of their way to ignore me because I did not fit what they thought should be an artist or a writer. But I've dealt with that. Here I am talking to you people. So it didn't work. I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. Jem said you're one of Guyana's storytelling legends. And then Angela said Tom Feelings. What's that? What is she talking about? Tom
Uh,
Feelings?
Tom Feelings was the man who turned me into a book illustrator. Tom Feelings was an African American guy who was invited by Burnham to come to Guyana to teach book production. So Tom came to Guyana in 1972 and he put together a group of young artists and he started teaching us how to design books, how to illustrate books, where to put a picture. And he was our art director. That man was like a father figure, man. Tom Feelings was a nice guy. He stayed in Wolford Avenue. And even when I came to America, I sought out Tom, and Tom was still Tom. So Tom Feelings was the man to whom I owe so much because he taught me how to illustrate books. That was
Wow.
Tom.
Do you teach
African-American born.
people how to illustrate books?
Say that again.
Do you teach that, how to illustrate books? Do you teach that?
I can, but it's a strange world now. It is difficult to teach people because of social media. In my day, you want to be an artist. I'm self-taught. I'm unlike many people. I studied art through books, and I ended up being a teacher I taught art at Burroughs, but myself personally, I'm self-taught. But if you want to teach somebody to draw today, the first thing they would tell you is, you say, can I see your work? Oh, you could go on Facebook, and you go on Facebook and you see that they can't draw. You can see that their quality is terrible. They can't do anything proper, but they have 1,001 likes. And invariably, they would say to me, Mr. Bascom, I don't agree with you. I'm good. Do you see how much likes I have? And so I keep away from people who want to learn, but are not willing to learn because they already know, because people on Facebook tell them that they're good. It's a difficult time now to teach anybody anything. But I wouldn't mind teaching.
Robert said, what about Wordsworth McAndrew?
Wordsworth McAndrew was one of Guyana's greatest folklorists. Oh, lady with the wrinkled skin, let the old like walk begin. Wordsworth wrote that poem. But the sad thing is, there are modern day Guyanese children, young people, dramatists who are doing Old Haig and don't know who wrote Old Haig. We are living in a vicious society that shows no respect to writers and artists. I have a series of figures: Baku, Jumbi, Moongazer. And do you know people use my work without even saying, Mr. Bascom, can I have permission to use your work? No. We break copyright.
That's one thing there. I find that thing there with this copyright thing, like people, they really don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't understand the importance of, people's content and how.
No, they don't. They don't. Mm-hmm. And that's partly because you can't blame them. Because do you know there used to be textbooks being printed and people buying textbooks, printed textbooks, breaching copyrights of international printers, and it was encouraged. It was encouraged. So it's part of the whole society. Break the law. It doesn't matter. They can't do you nothing. You living in Guyana.
Okay. This guy has been missing in action for years. Where did you find him? Guyana best writers, dramatists. And then Iona say a king, they say a king doesn't have honor in his own country. Simone said, congratulations. Angela said, we miss your intelligence. And GT Brown Sugar said, how can I contact you if I want to be taught?
You can contact Dion, and Dion will pass your request, and I'll give you my contact through Dion. Dion, you could give her my contact.
Okay, good. When I come up, I'll put your number, or put your number in the thing after email. We come up.
Email.
Okay, I'll give me email. Okay, yes. So absolutely true.
What was the other question? I left Guyana in 1996 and I came to the United States, and I never gave up with my writing, even though when you leave Guyana, I left Guyana as this successful playwright. And I need to level with you people. You need to understand this. Before we leave Guyana, we might be on the road talking about, buddy, I go into the States, I gotta make it. Let me tell you something. The reality of many writers and artists leaving Guyana to come to America to make it is a rude reality. When I thought I would be coming to America as this big playwright putting on plays at the cultural center, then got cultural center in America for Guyanese people. You got to find some little school in Brooklyn. You don't got money to go to BAM, this big place in Brooklyn. You don't got money for that. You got to get a little school and hope your own people gonna come out and see what you're doing. It's rude. Many writers have come here and become nurse and all kind of thing just to survive. I worked. I worked at a newspaper. I remember when I went home after to receive a certain prize. Said, Bascom, boy, where you working now? You putting on plays? I said, no, I ain't putting on plays. I'm no big thing. I said, I work at a newspaper. So you're a journalist? I said, nobody. I drive in a forklift in the basement of this place. I drive in forklift. You drive in forklift? Yes. America is the great equalizer. America is where you come to realize all
Hey,
of
you
it
know, we
going
really, that's a conversation I have to have, Harold, about when you come to America and the baptism of fire that you have to go through to come to yourself. Like, oh my
brutal.
God.
There are times you sit
Yeah.
down in America, man or woman, and your bust cry. Your bust cry. I saw an artist I used to live in Hackensack, that is North Georgia. And there was a Guyanese artist that used to go to the public library. And I don't forget this guy. He went crazy. He was nuts. You got to be strong to live in America and understand and accept. I remember,
Man, he run off. He run off.
yes, you right off. I was in Brooklyn doing a play. And in intermission, a guy was introducing me. Colin Jones, who was an actor, said, Harold, I want you to meet my friend, man. And the guy shook my hands and I said to the guy, and where's your name, man? Where's your name? The man would not give me his name. All the man kept saying was, man, Bascom, I know you, man. I know you, man, Bascom. But what's your name? Man, Bascom, I know you. You know what was that about? Many of us leave Guyana boasting that we go into America and make it. And when we hit America and we can't make it, we are ashamed for people to remember who we were. This guy would not say who he was. And that was sad. Just got to be truthful. Bascom, but you're a big journalist. No, I'm not a big journalist. I drive in a forklift. But you keep working and you keep working and you keep working. And at this age, I get in social security. All my kids are accountants and auditors. I don't have to give nobody nothing. And so I could afford to write full time, paint full time, get a lot of commissions, and I happy. I just write.
Exactly.
I just paint.
It's true. I got to do, Angela said it's called Path to Success. And Angela talk about I think she said intellectual, yeah, there's no respect for intellectual property in Guyana. Yes, Angela said the same thing too. But you know what? I have to do that. She gave me an idea right there when she talked about the path to success, like coming to America and what it really looks like. I've written some poems about it. I remember one day I had a boots when I just come to America, meaning get the right boots. I get a boot, the bottom, I roll the bottom smooth. I walking on the snow, all in up on a lady on a fence. I'm walking, coming home from this job what me barely get. Next thing you know, me slide down far right up on my back, lie down in the snow, looking up in the sky. Me just start crying, babe. Me start crying. Me want go home. Me want go home.
I remember a Mashramani day. Say Harold is mashing Guyana by. What Harold doing? I there shoveling snow. This thing is a shit. You shoveling snow, but then people up on the park. It's the reality.
Exactly. It's true.
Like,
You see, and this I like to talk about this, about the life and then the remittance that we send when we working so hard and people just enjoy life, you understand?
questions.
Yes, questions, guys. We have a few more. We usually go for an hour, but we go for 1.5. People really are enjoying you today. So we have like 7 more minutes. to
Okay.
go. So, guys, please ask your question. Writing is your passion, so I guess you're at peace.
Yeah. But you know,
Yes.
but uh, I often describe myself as a shark. They say there are certain species of shark that have to keep swimming, and if they stop swimming, they sink. I have to keep writing. It is what makes me alive. I keep creating. Even if I washing beers, my mind is going. Creative
Yeah.
ideas. If I'm taking a walk, my mind is going. It's my life, and I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yes.
At 72, heading to 73, I good. How old?
Wow. First person make I realize that that's how the creative mind works. Like my mind doesn't rest.
No, you don't rest.
It don't rest all the time, all the time. But you taught me something. I don't always write down every single thing that come to my mind, and I need to do that.
You need to do
Okay,
that.
Angela says availability of books. Talk about that.
One thing that I want all of you to understand is that I am first and foremost, I'm known as a playwright. And so most of the work, over 20 plays, over 15 plays I produced at the Cultural Center, and I won the Guyana Prize for Literature 5 times. So you really don't have a lot of plays are not really printed and sold like that. So the most book you would find for me is 101 Words, a patter. I even have a book which I'm teaching people how to write, how to get better reviews from your first novel. So most of my work are plays.
Okay. All right.
And the two
So
books
will
I
you
am
guys
on
be on
Amazon.
next week? I am going to bring back Harold, guys. It might not be next week, but Harold is coming back because we have a lot to talk about. Shana said,
Thank you.
what is your latest release?
My latest release is a play that I was commissioned to write for a theater in Georgetown based on how the Chinese came to Guyana. This company is planning to do a play on each one of their races. And I just completed the first one. They asked me to write for them how the Chinese came. So, as I said, I am working on a new play that I want to stage in Atlanta before the year is out.
Yeah. What street in Alexander Village you used to live, Harold?
I think it was Second Street. It was Second. When you come around from Front Road, West Rhineville, and you turn left as if you're going downtown, you turn left. The first bridge, Second Street. Somebody know Alexander Village? Think they remember
Yeah,
me?
I think so. Angela said artwork for sale.
Oh, I have tons of artwork. I have a lot of artwork. But how are you going to buy it? I'm in the States. If you are in the States and you're interested in the artwork, cool. You could get my address. But I have a lot of artwork.
Yeah, I'm going to
I paint in series. I have different series. I have a lot of work. So
wow.
and if you want more, if you want a landscape, you want a kaichor, you commission it from me and I paint it for you.
Beautiful. Have you ever been in contact with Hollingsworth? I know he was another one who was affiliated with Theatre Guild.
Ronald and I, we had our own little friendly competition. When I took Cockle House to Linden, Ronald took Watch the Ride. And then Ronald people trying to tear down me posters and my people trying to tear down Ronald posters. It was amusing, but we be good friends. I remember when I won the Guyana Prize for 2 wrongs. Ronald was there. Ronald said, Harold boy, I remember the story when my father hid an Indian guy in his house, and Ronald started to remember all these things. He said, but you took it and you wrote a play. So yeah, me and Ronald, like, when my sister died, he was at the funeral. So yeah, I know Ronald well, man.
Yeah. My art teacher at Multi in Linden. Glad to see you, sir.
Who is this? Talk to me.
John, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir, still here. Sir, still there about.
Yeah.
I remember one of the times I won the guy in the prize, somebody said, he's still there wrong. Well, I don't know if somebody sent something to kill me dead in a hurry. I got what I got what
But we don't say what I give you for rub, you not eat. Thank God.
good.
That is it. We appreciate your company. Great work, both of you. Please bring the play to Brooklyn, Queens.
To bring it again, that play was staged in downtown Brooklyn in 1996, but it wasn't supported. I wouldn't mind bringing it again.
Yeah, perhaps with a lot of advertisement, we can, make it happen again. Oh,
Yes, it could
Sandra said
happen.
I'm from Forest Street, Alexander Village.
You from 4th Street? Okay,
Sandra, yes.
that's good. I used to live in a flat house in 2nd Street.
Everybody, me too. Keep
Yeah.
up the good work, Mr. Harold.
All right, this all I could do.
Somebody
They
said, I remember Cockle House and watch the ride.
Well, what you write is Ronald's. Ronald play. Cocklouse is mine. Queen of the
Yes.
Pack. Queen of the Pack and Family Budget. I wrote a whole lot of plays. Touch all kind of subject.
I will support it this time if you bring it back. She said she will support it. And Angela
Good.
said, if anyone borrow your book, just tell them to buy their own. Harold Bascom. Yes, guys, buy the book. Don't borrow. And
Don't
people
borrow.
said, Dion, he mount hat like my late grandmother. Yeah, this man mount hat we expect him and he old and cold. He young, flouncing and bouncing.
Mm. You know, it reminds me of people who, when I was producing plays, people come by, Harold, give me a free ticket, give me a free ticket. Say, buddy, if everybody I know want a free ticket, I ain't gonna make no profit. Come on, support me. Buy a ticket.
Exactly. And Sylvana said, I love to hear his experiences. I only remember his name. Keep up the great job. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God. This 1.5 hour fly by like nothing. What do you want to leave with the audience? Like, what's your message? What are your last words to them before we close today?
My word is live for today. I keep saying it, live for today. Tomorrow is not promised to you. Yesterday gone. Stop worrying about yesterday. Stop pining about what's gonna happen tomorrow. Live now. If we can learn to live now, be happy now, we'll be good. Chop shot.
Hey, hey! Well, I hear the man tell I the story. I'm gonna tell you, I just always tell you, not take your matia if you see. Not take shame face and shake Kokobe man and I tell you now, this never fail. One dirty does always build them. Tata! Tell the tata na Harold, tell the tata.